Sitting on the fence, what's keeping the city of Moline from allowing the future selling of recreational marijuana?
Plus, Credit Island still recovering after the historic flood. What still needs to be done before it reopens?
WHBF is local for you. This is Local 4 News this morning.
Good morning, everybody, on this Wednesday morning. I'm Redrick Terry.
And I'm Alexandria Ikomoni. Thanks for watching Local 4 News this morning. Let's get started with your local news, beginning with our top story. Local governments across Illinois struggling with giving the green light on recreational weed. Here in the Quad Cities, Moline City Council is still on the fence.
Yeah, marijuana becomes legal in Illinois on New Year's Day, but cities can opt out of letting businesses sell the drug within their jurisdiction. Moline Mayor Stephanie Acree says the city is in the process of deciding what to do.
Moline City Administrator put a request out. There are about 20 questions for anyone interested in selling recreational weed next year. Moline Mayor Stephanie Acree says money for this will help with pensions and road construction, but there are concerns with allowing sale. She says right now they're just getting details so that they can decide to opt in or out.
Council members and some of the council is concerned about allowing that in the city of Moline. So what we want to do is weigh the benefits against the problems that may come with it.
The deadline to fill out this request is the first week of October. She says they hope to have rules in place by the end of this year. Coming up in the next half hour, we'll tell you more about the benefits and how it can impact city budgets in our area.
And meanwhile, at 6:02, we're getting a closer look at the aftermath of a house that exploded in Des Moines on Friday morning.
Now, no one was home at the time and there were no serious injuries. That explosion damaged dozens of homes around it. Alex Schumann reports there's a lot of cleanup to do.
This said that from the outside, they deemed it structurally sound.
Lance Hansen got the clear from the city to go inside his house.
It's like this wall was pushed out or pulled out.
His walls are cracked, windows smashed. The kitchen, which faces the site of the explosion, feels tilted inside.
This was kind of the area that sustained the most damage, it appears.
The tenant who rented this space from Lance moved out a week before the explosion.
You know, that's the scary part of being a landlord, is to have families living in your properties, and we were fortunate.
At the same time he walked through his property, inspectors climbed their way through what's left of the scattered home.
So we always go in with as much of an open mind as we can and try to cover all the bases so that we can make an accurate determination of what actually happened.
Des Moines Fire says 38 homes in the area suffered damage. Examples of the explosion's power are everywhere. A crippled chimney, a piece of wood shot through a privacy fence, insulation coating a nearby rooftop. All of it still being cleaned up 4 days later as inspections continue and repairs begin.
There's a lot to do yet.
Alex Schumann reporting. The fire investigators think a natural gas leak caused the explosion. They don't expect to have an official cause for several weeks or months.
We now know the names of the officers involved in the deadly Burlington shooting last week. Police initially responded to a report of gunshots. Witnesses pointed them to a pickup truck. Police say Caleb Peterson ran from the truck with a gun when they tried to stop it, and then they shot back and forth. Peterson died. Iowa's Division of Criminal Investigation says officers Tyler Henning and Nathan Crooks and Des Moines County Sergeant Kevin Glendingen are the three involved. Right now, they're cooperating with the investigation.
Credit Island Lodge is a few weeks away from reopening after being heavily damaged by the flood of 2019. There was no access to that island for almost 100 days.
Now, the entrance is open, but work still needs to be done. Crews still have flooring and electrical work to do, and Taylor Bozer tells you more.
This was by far our largest and most sustained flood and probably the most damage we have seen.
Back in June, this is what Credit Island looked like after the historic flooding. Just a few weeks ago, the entranceway reopened.
The island was pretty much underwater for close to 3 months.
The Davenport Parks and Recreation Department is continuing to clean up the island.
The debris cleanup, for the most part, the island's accessible all the way around. The lodge is our priority to get that back up and running.
The change in color on Credit Island Lodge shows how high up the water was during the flooding.
You see flood debris up here as well, so it actually did get up to this level, whereas probably it spent the majority of time here.
The Parks and Rec Department hired a professional cleaning company to fix the facility. Betsy Tubbs, senior park manager, says the damage could have been much worse.
It does have a smart vent system, which is a flood-friendly system. So the building itself did not sustain any major damage, but did have a significant amount of water in it.
The smart vent system prevents excessive pressure on the outside, which could further damage the lodge.
There's a little weight in here, so as the pressure of the water hit here, this would pop open, so it would lie flat. The water then could flow through,
allowing the building and the island to be ready for whatever damage may come.
There is just a lot of history on the island in general.
The one thing about the island, it's resilient, and it does flood and has a history of that, so it's nothing that we are not used to.
Taylor Bozer reporting. The senior parks manager says the first event at the lodge will be at a primary election on October 8th.
6:06 now. A Savannah couple's prized possession will be available to look at again soon. Alan and Adrian St. George's Haven Crest Castle will reopen for public tours on weekends in October. The 63-room home-turned-castle has many rooms decorated in traditional Victorian and other designs. Although Adrian St. George died in 2006, her husband said that he's working to show that love is eternal as he continues to work on the castle and share it with the public. Wow, look at some of the stuff that you can see inside that castle.
Yes.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Beautiful, stunning, true art. It seems like everyone's going to have a great time going out there in October to really enjoy and see what they have to offer.
Yeah, next month. So, we're almost to October. It's hard to believe at this point, even though it certainly doesn't feel like that outside. Muggy, hot, ash. We would love some October weather to go with the actual date.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. Maybe eventually. Excuse me. The past few days, though, have been very, very warm. Mid-80s here today, mid-80s yesterday, mid-80s tomorrow. It does continue here at least through the end of the week. This morning is not too bad, lower 60s, mid-60s for some of us, dew points in the lower 60s. So it's cool, calm, and comfortable. At least I'll say mild and comfortable, and not exactly cool. We will get to cool weather by the time we get to next week, but we got to get through a few more kind of warm days here. A lot of sunshine on the way for us today. Hour-by-hour forecast takes us back up to the mid-80s this afternoon. So right around 81 there at noon, and then 86 or so will be that high. We'll peak there for just a little bit. Lots of humidity outside, probably even more humid than yesterday. Tonight, we'll drop back down to the mid-60s. Nice warm night for us. So, yeah, not really going to be seeing this heat break anytime soon. Maybe by this weekend we'll get some relief, but in the meantime, just get used to it.
Okay, that's fine.
No, it's not fine. No, we don't want to get used to it. We would love some autumn.
I know, you and me both. I'm tired of wearing shorts. I'm ready for some blue jean weather.
Right?
Some sweaters.
Some long sleeve shirt. Yeah, maybe even a sweater.
Break out the sleeves.
Come on.
I can never get tired of wearing short sleeves.
Yeah, I have already.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Man,
No.
Coming up, a unique corn maze in Wisconsin.
Why the way it was made stands out from traditional mazes.
Time now 6:09. You're watching Local 4 News this morning.
WHBF is local for you with Frederick Terry, Alexandria Ikomoni, and meteorologist Ash Simpson. This is Local 4 News this morning in high definition.